Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be bitter and can be acidic, can be salty, can be deeply spicy, it can be umami, it can be fresh, it can be lemony, it can be garlicky, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi, just like
Hi.
this, just like how I ended.
Yeah,
Sweet.
bitter and acidic is where we started, so it's it's
The
good to know that
journey,
we
the
ended
journey,
sweet.
the journey.
All right, so today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, season 8, episode 11. I did not write the title down, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with a fairy tale. Okay, wait. Based on this episode, the last episode was called Couples Grimm. This one is like maybe it's a Hansel and Gretel reference. It could be a yeah. I'm gonna go with Hansel and Gretel. That's my guess. It's probably like into the cookie jar or the witch's hut.
See, Ashley talks about her witch potion and her like IV. So I feel like it'd be like, you know, do you want a bite of this IV? No, I don't know. Or poison ivy or something. I don't know. That's just my guess. But let's start with Gino and Jasmine, honey. So Jasmine starts off by being like, Jasmine's back. This is I was really, really down. My hair is falling out. I got to America. But here is one of the first things you saw about me is back in the day when I got first introduced on the series is my ass used to be in the gym working out all the time. And here I am in America working out with the tight leggings on. And she feels like she has her like earbuds in and she know that she can like be stout because it's her thing. Like, remember that, that was her thing in Panama. So she wants Gino of all people to like go ham with these heavy ropes, which you always see people doing, which I never have it's all the strength possible, but so much arm strength. God bless her. She makes fun of Gino for having 15 extra pounds, and he has chicken legs. Now it's weird because from this moment, it is like lighthearted and funny and like, oh, he needs this and da da da. And then it just like spirals into negativity. And what's happening now on the streets is like hilarious. Go ahead.
She's back.
Yes, yes,
It's like
yes, yes.
Jasmine, the Jasmine we know came back in full effect and for a good reason. She was on her best behavior for at least the last 3 to 4 episops,
Yes, yes,
which
yes.
means 3 to 4 months in their real life.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
she is wearing a lilac outfit, and I hate who she's botched. She's botched. Whoever did that job on her did it wrong. Did it strong and wrong. Her butt job is not enviable in the slightest bit.
She needs more hips, I guess, or something, like in order to like
Something
balance it. It's just it
crazy.
looks very obvious, but I mean
Yeah.
maybe she wants that look.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think it looks good for her. So she is trying to motivate Gino, who, when he goes into that squat, it was like he was trying to sit over a toilet, like hover over a
Right.
toilet seat. I was like, did you not see her form? And then she's like, I'm gonna teach you, baby. I'm gonna be your trainer. And I was like, fix him. Tell him to open his legs. Tell
Yeah,
him
like
that he
do it
needs to
now.
yeah, tell him like he needs to do like other stuff. Like we don't believe that you're training him. Then they go to the punching bag and he does his very best with his producer driven. Yeah, Jasmine, hit it like you want to hit my family members for talking shit about you, Jasmine. It's like, really? That's that's what you want to bring up and get her angry about to hit a punching bag? And I'm like, how is she going to hit this punching bag with her nails? There was just so much logistically I was concerned about. And then she hits him in the balls accidentally on purpose, or like
Yes.
accidentally hits him on the balls, but I don't think she actually did. I think a producer put him up to that because he wasn't mad afterwards. Like, I don't know any man who gets hit in the balls, accidents or no, who would just be like, I'm okay. No, that would have been the catalyst for him to want to leave and then want a smoothie. If someone hits you in the balls during where you're where you're filming something, that is what makes you go, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I gotta go home. Like, I'm mad because you got hit in your most sensitive parts. And that was the moment. Like, from a director's standpoint, from a producer's standpoint, that was the moment that the pivot should have happened. But instead, the pivot happens because Jasmine makes it happen, which makes her reality TV gold to a certain extent. Because she brings up some very good points that Gino is a cheap bastard who keeps trying to use money over her.
Yeah, because she conveniently brings up in the middle of being totally nice to him that, like, oh, by the way, I got a phone call from the pageant people and they've been saying that you haven't actually paid the entrance fee. And he makes it seem like that's not a possibility because of like his finances. And she's like, get a job. You have to provide, go to work, you disgusting, like she's just like, I don't want you here. Like, I want to be out. Like, what she's unfortunately angling, which I get, is for more freedom. Like, I'm just like, yeah, she needs to have her own car or like an Uber account. You know what I'm saying? She needs to be able to like get out and about in these streets. She can't just like, like have to wait for you to like go to the gym because she wants to be there for an hour and 15, like with stretching and everything. And you don't want to be there for that. Like,
at all.
It's obvious, he's like, you already worked. I can't do his voice at all. But at points, your voice for him almost gave me like Chris Tucker vibes, which I really, really, I enjoyed. But anyway, he's just like, Jasmine, you did your cardio, whatever. God bless you. Like, okay. And then he's just like, put all that back. And I get it due to like with a strawberry smoothie, just probably has so much sugar in it anyway. She like hates it. So then after he's like, I just hungry, I'm like, okay. He goes and gets one and then just wants to do the old man boomeriest thing, which is just sit outside of the smoothie place with the thing. Like, no one does that except my dad and Gino. Like, my dad goes and gets frozen yogurt and ice cream. He wants to sit outside and have it there. I'm like, no, we're taking it back home. We're going back to the house and eating this like in the comfort of our like. And it's just, I mean, you can say that I like to pack eat or whatever, but I don't fucking get it with like these kinds of things. Like a smoothie, I don't sit down. I don't go and have like a cold drink and then sit down. Like, sure, a meal, but like this is grab and go, and I have to go. So
you would if you lived in like New York. Yeah, you would if you lived in like New York. But yeah, you're absolutely right that it wouldn't happen here. It wouldn't happen any place where you could easily get in your car and be comfortable eating something where you could just be at peace. Like, you're in public, you're eating something you really love. It's not as satisfying.
Yeah, look at your nails. God bless them. Yeah, straight up yes. And I also wanted to know like how her avocado smoothie was, because like when she said avocado, I was like, what else is in there? Avocado, just
no, there's more. I've seen them like banana.
Yeah, you'd have to put like something else in there. Just it's the most mild flavor. It's like zucchini. I'll get a zucchini smoothie. Like what? Come again?
Yeah, that's so true.
Jicama. Do you have a jicama smoothie? Have you tried
that
jicama smoothie?
Gross. That'd be so gross. But she is, she's like, what are you doing? Because he wants to sit there. She's like, you just made me leave my 45-minute appointment. Like, I could have stayed there for 45 minutes while you did all your smoothie run and your old man sitting in front of this thing. Yeah, do it. Come back and pick me up. But no, he was like, let's go. Because he's mad at her for calling him out on his shenanigans. And then he's going to like, I've never seen Gino in this light. This was such a perfect example of maybe the reason why she freaks out as much. Maybe there's a lot of this behavior that we don't see. But this was a perfect example of like shenanigans. She's bringing up a valid concern. I don't have credit cards. I don't have any way to do anything without you. And you like the control. Like, just now you're forcing me to get smoothies. Then you're telling me we're going to sit here when all the time you're telling me you wanted to go home. So they almost get to the car because before then he's like, you should be grateful for all the things I've done for you. And she has the greatest moment that I love. I love it when a foreigner can speak in English and say to the American exactly what it is. Oh, you want me to thank you? You want me to get on my knees and thank you and beg you for bringing me to the United States? Okay, Gino. Yes, thank you so much. I mean, even though low key, she really did act a fool about getting to the United States. But we won't go into that. But yeah, this idea that you should be grateful. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And so then they get to the car and he's like, do you want your smoothie? And she's so pissed because, again, he's ignoring what she's upset. So she hits him. She hits it out of his hand onto him. Then she takes off her shoes that he bought her, throws those at him too. And it's like, I'm going to walk home.
Yes, yes, she absolutely does. Now, God bless her. The streets are saying that they're not together. She's with someone else and she moved on. Now, let us just remember that just as we remember seeing her working out in the gym in Panama, that's how it started for us and like one of our first scenes of meeting her. She also met Gino on a sugar baby website.
She did?
Yes. So
Wow.
has always had the he has always been like leading with, I'll take care of you, I'll provide for you, if you're with me, like this is what you get. Like it's pretty spelled out, and he's no prize. And what is otherworldly, and to me is like, as this like descends into the pits of hell, did you see the what's going to happen next week?
No, I skipped it.
Okay, let me just tell you, because it's like, thank God, is that she is like, he has some really fucked up sexual shit. And if I laid bare it, I could really embarrass him. Now,
Okay, wait a minute. More embarrassing than being
what?
peed on?
All right. Literally, we already know the fact that he likes to be peed on, that you suck his toes, and that he can't ever get hard or never wants to fuck you anyway. Those are the things that we know so far. I mean, that's just basic knowledge, of like, of your just sexual history, as well as like all the dildos and everything like that. So the fact that that's just not anything. Now, I know that they probably like threesomes and he likes to be watched, or he likes to watch her. I'm assuming that feels very like that's probably something that happened. And like they somewhat inferred that during the tell all with Nikki, but basically like that he would watch her and Nikki together. And but that also makes me feel like he gives cuckold vibes for sure. And then, but yeah, like I want to know if that's what it is or even more.
Wow.
Because cuckold is not a big deal to me. That's like almost, I know it sounds gross, but like, or not gross, but I mean, I don't know, it sounds like whatever, but like, it's so it's a common enough that there's porn made about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't think anything's wrong with it. I'm like, all right.
Look at
That's,
him. I mean,
yeah.
obviously when I say it, no one would be like, what? They'd be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's fine. So that's where it ends, with her stomping off, and it was Regino and Jasmine that we are used to.
I would have been like,
um,
well, I'll use your shoes to walk home. I'll just pretend each step is your fucking face, but I don't want to like ruin my toesies woesies and to get home, Plus I have to see you anyway when I'm home.
I just wonder how clean the streets of Michigan are, like where they are.
She's gonna get her cardio either way.
Yeah, so good for her. Okay, so next couple is Ashley and Manuel.
Mm.
So where we left off last time is Manuel getting into a Uber van to take Ashley home after a failed New York City trip, and escalating their relationship because she feels like she can't trust him because he won't tell her certain things and he keeps things to himself. And so they've been back into Rochester, and she walks into a clinic like every rich white lady from every movie of like, that's making fun of. It's like she was Elle Woods walking into the salon to get her nails done, like just like, oh my god, I've had such a trying day. As she wraps her fur, she walks up to the lady and she's just like, okay, you know what I want, you know what I need, just give it all to me. And this person behind the desk with a full doctor's thing on, I mean, I can only imagine this person is a flu botanist, which fine, but the full like doctor's jacket, and it was so extra that, and I loved it, but also like so extra. And we never get to see Black women just being ridiculous on TV, and Ashley gives it to us every time.
Yeah, she did. She looked great in this scene. I love IV therapy. Like if she said the price right I mean, maybe because it's her cousin, IV therapy is much more expensive than $50 a bag. That's like, I wish, it's 3 times that, so, yeah. So maybe it's her cousin or whatever, but like that sounded great. That magnesium and that extra hydration. I'm so happy for her. Basically, she opens about the fact that her bio dad is a piece of shit and really hurt her. And her cousin is like, I'm so sorry. And she has trust issues. And her cousin's like, you know what you should do? Have that post-nup conversation. And we've been knowing this conversation. We have a pre-nup conversation. We have a post-nup conversation. We have literally the pre-nup conversation happening right now in Love in Paradise, but we're going to have the post-nup conversation now. Every time the conversation happens, I'm always like, don't you plant the seeds for this conversation like during the relationship by like, or just like hint at it, or just like, I don't know. Just it never goes well, you know. It's except for the fact that in the previews for the next one, it might feel like Manuel was happy for this at the end of the day. But she and her cousin are basically talking about the fact that, and we've discussed it, that he wants to send back money to his family all the time, which, you know, is because they want it and need it. And, you know, he feels like he should provide it. And that's, I guess, not a very clear conversation that they've had together or whatnot, which I think that is the disservice they're doing to themselves.
She said they did have the conversation and that they agreed on 200, but he's just been asking for more than that. And she made it seem like it was thousands. And I was like, you mean 8,000? Like 800 more than what you all had agreed on, but they agreed on 200. And she said that it was an amount that where they could live pretty decently from that. So I know that they did have the conversation. I think just Ashley, because it's and also you didn't know your dad. Like, how is that your dad's fault? Unless the dad was way older than the mom, which that's a different conversation because the mom was 16 when she had her. And so for Ashley to be like, my dad was never around, they kept him from me. I'm like, who's they? Your grandparents? So why are you mad at the dad? Like, so I just wanted more clarification on that. And she has a right to be mad at her dad, but what I'm saying is I just wanted to know because that explanation didn't make sense to me. But she is telling the cousin this and like the secret with Manuel. That's the reason why I'm like, no, somebody else did something. You got cheated on, and you've been cheated on in every single relationship. That's why you feel like you can't trust him. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want a post-nup. Now, here's my thing. If Manuel is the man that I know him to be, which is a man who prides himself on being able to provide for his family, I don't think that that type of man would necessarily want to take half of her stuff. Like, I think that man would be okay with a post-nup. Because at the time when any of that would happen, there would be no. I imagine that he would be established enough to be like, "All right, go on then. I don't want your money. I'm a man. Why would I want your money?" Now, unless he was like a stay-at-home dad and he had no money and he had allowed her to go work out in the field this whole time. Yeah. Anyways, now it is really interesting when she gets with him. She has her guard up, armor on, ready for battle with him, doesn't kind of get pulled into any of his side chatter or any of his like bait and switch. She's just like, well, this is where we're at. Like, she's very stern in that conversation with him. And I had to give it up to her. Even when he tried to be petty with the eating the chicken, like, oh, I'm sorry, this is so delicious. I have to wait until I finish eating it to answer your question. So
yeah, he's just like, I came here because I'm in love with you and I want to grow old with you and I want to have a family with you.
Yeah.
And she weathered that storm.
She
You
did.
know?
She really did, Chris. Like,
she battened down the hatches, I'm sure.
yes.
But I mean,
yeah, because that was like the thing she probably has ever always wanted him to say. And he's throwing it at her flippantly. Like, I did want to come here and because you were the love of my life and I did want to grow old with you. I saw that. I saw us having kids. But like, if you don't want that, okay, just let me know. Very manipulative of him. But she's like, no.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. Do you want to talk about Kobe and Emily? Okay, so we're back in the bride price negotiation room, where it's like Kobe and his family talking about the property that is Emily to the family. Exactly what that means, which is property. Like, she is ours, our responsibility. We take care of her. She is our responsibility to take care of. She belongs to us. Do you not hear what I'm saying? And like, Emily's mom, who's just like so, like, she's so pristine looking. She's such an interesting and really beautiful woman in this very like, gosh, I don't know. She feels like she should like read at a library for kids. You know what I'm saying? I would cast her as like a modern day Mrs. Santa. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think she looks exponentially better than her husband, just in the way that she's upkept. Like, I can see she just looks like she's aged but relatively stayed the same, and her hair has just gotten grayer as she got older.
Yes.
But like her lines are fine, like they're not deep set. I can't see her having done a lot of yelling or a lot of frowning. Like she looks well kept, and I feel like it has to do with him. I feel like he created a space for her to be able to like lavishly be in her femininity, whether that's taking her out on dates a certain amount of time a week or something. There's something about her that doesn't feel let go or given up or comfortable. She's still on it as far as like the visual.
Yeah, her hands are definitely soft.
Yes. Yes. And like
Yes.
she does, and she's not like, I don't know, she's not like a weird old grandma. She's, with it, but and not too flashy or whatever. But anyways, so it's really interesting. I say all that it's just to say the entire time that I'm watching this, and they kept saying property, and I wanted them to say, we worked hard. When she said we worked hard, like we work hard in my country, and I thought she was going to say to ensure that slavery was abolished and that no one can be each other's property. Like our country is based on the backs of slave trade, and so the idea of a human being someone else's property is just really disgusting to me. Like I'm really proud as an American that we grew from that. But this bitch says, oh no, as women we just got our right to vote, so like don't do that. And I was like, wow. Wow. You hear the word property and a person being property over and over again, and you don't think slavery?
Yes. Maybe she didn't feel comfortable saying it, I don't know, but that was her moment to like stand on a pedestal and say that. And it was very suffragette, it was very suffragette. It
And the
was like,
suffragettes are known racists. Like they did not give a fuck about the vote for Black women. They were mad that Black men had the vote over them, and they were white. How dare a Black man has a vote over me? And the most of the feminists who cite the suffragettes are feminists who do not understand intersectionalism and like and womanism, and just intersectional feminism is what I should have said. It's just like so tone deaf, and not tone deaf, but it's just so like a different experience. And I just thought it was going to go one way, and it didn't. You know what I mean?
I get it.
I was so shocked.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyways, they
unexpected.
got over it, and they were okay with giving 2 francs or whatever, $2 for 40,000 francs. And they felt better after, Kobe jumped in and saved his uncle from drowning the whole family. And then they tried the Aru. And apparently it was bomb. And I said, okay, Emily, I'm here for it. I'm here for you.
Excellent. Yeah.
Oh my God.
People were like, this is her first time. Stop. First time making it? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot of people in this village don't know how to make it like this, and like, it was like, they had these like beautiful, like Parker rolls or whatever. Like, and then they had this like, like the meat and like looked like a beautiful, like steamed greens part of it or something. I don't know. It was really, really, really a win for Emily. And she knew it too. I feel like she knew it tasted good.
Yeah. So good for her. I'm really happy for that for her. Now, then the next scene is where she lets me down. So they ask her how she's, feeling, and she's like, I want to do what's traditional. You know what I mean? Like she just kept looking at her parents like, I'm going to do what's traditional. I don't want to talk about the nuances of whatever the imagery behind it means, but I'm just going to do what's traditional because I'm married to this man and I love him and I want things to go good. Great. And so she's in the kitchen cooking or cleaning dishes, and Kobe comes in and she's like, oh, I wanted to talk to you. And she's like, I want to visit what Valerie said. And I need you to set up a meeting with your ex-girlfriend. And I was like, no. And Kobe's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I think that it's important that I meet her. And I was like, why? What? Like, I was so annoyed at her for doing this. I mean, it makes great TV, but I hate the fact that he has to reach out, and it just makes it so that if I were that woman, I would be like, oh my God, he still thinks about me. And he told his wife about me. Oh, I still have an in. The wife is jealous of me?
They're setting up this wedding as being like, let's see how all the people show up. Well, we have his family on the side. Hopefully they get the bride price or whatever. And then it's like his friends obviously don't like it. And now like I feel like she's going to have this like moment with the girlfriend. And like, I think Emily just wants to come off as like a righteous, indignant woman who is like keeps her side of the street clean and like knows and is like I don't know like woman to woman like I mean because she can't obviously like, she's not a mean person and she can't be wanting to meet up and to rub it in her face that they're together. I think that I don't know. I also feel like the fact that he has her number and everything, the fact that he will like do it, like and the fact that he's like, oh, she's not even here. She moved away. Like he could do a billion things. But the fact that he just knows he has to do it makes me feel like it's all planned. Now, having said all of that, I'm here for it. Oh, I can't wait. I want to see her. I want to see her look at Emily. I want to see it all. I want to see him. I want to see him sweat bullets. If I could see Emily's mom and dad at the distance, just watching it all happen and see that face too, I would see it all. Like I would just like have a montage of their faces as I watched all of it happen. You know what I'm saying? And I think Emily just wants to, my opinion is that she's just going to be like, hey, I just want you to know that I heard there could have been some like confusion or some misunderstanding between where your relationship ended and this one began. And I just want to know that like, I hope that you are okay and let you know that this ended up being like the transformative relationship of our life where we are now married and we have kids and I want to make sure that our side of the street clean is in Cameroon, it's clean here. I'm saying my side of the street, which in Cameroon, his street, his street that he lives on in Cameroon. We want to make sure it's all clean. You know what I'm saying?
That would be so crazy. That is a crazy ass thing to do. Like,
really?
It is. Yeah, it is. Listen, you know what it is though. It's because I think you're definitely more like girl, like the sisterhood than I am. I'm like, if you're not a part of my actual sisterhood, like if we aren't friends, you're on your own. Like that girl screaming upstairs. It wasn't Chelsea. As soon as you called Chelsea and we found it wasn't her, I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, that's terrible and funny. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I just don't know what's gonna happen next episode, honestly. And I'm here for it. But I do love this is what I love. I love the fact that their happily ever after is not just them in the boring ass Kansas. We already got the boring ass Kansas.
Oh, I know.
Their happily ever after is in another fucking country. They've created a whole story and narrative. We get to meet his people.
Right.
We get to like experience Cameroonian culture and like their wedding. Like I am very happy with the producer's choice to go with this couple and have this be what happens.
I absolutely agree. We all know what Iru, how to say it now. We all know like basically the ingredients of it. It's so interesting. Like they did a great job. And again, the wedding is going to be a big event with different like stakes and different characters. Like, there's going to be the friend's face there as he like looks in and we're all going to judge. Like, obviously this would be amazing. Like if that friend somehow went and then started crying because he was so moved by their love during the ceremony, like, that's not going to happen. But what if for some reason it did? Like, would that not be like icing on the cake? Or like, or maybe this would be great. So if the friends came to the wedding, brought their wives, and the wives were like, we love Emily, like, and she's going to turn us all into little Emilys, or whatever. And they just like, that's almost like a movie or something like that. Or like there'd be a reversal of fortune in such a way. But, or they would just, maybe they're just all moved by their love.
Yeah, that'd be so hilarious.
I don't know if it's gonna be, but that'd be nice, right?
I definitely want Valerie to be moved. Like anyone else, I don't care. But he's the one who's been the most antagonistic.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right, let's quickly do Michael and Angela. So we get a stupid scene where Angela is so nervous that she pulls over a boy who's very young and is like, Si, si, si. Like you didn't even learn how to say pardonnez-moi or like pardon or whatever. I don't know any French. Okay, I maybe je suis a wahima, maybe I don't know, but like I don't know. So she then calls that person over and she's like, I know me English. I como se llama? No, wrong language. Like and then he's like, yeah, I speak English, and she's like, oh, want to go out on a date?
He was gorgeous.
He was mic'd, so it was meant. He was mic'd. So yeah, he was gorgeous, and she's like, "Can I get a beer?" I was like,
Yeah, I think she's either drinking Stella's or it looks like she has a Stella over there. But basically, she is smoking and shaking, smoking and shaking and smoking, and her foot's going like a little like thumper rabbit. You know, she's smoking, shaking, thumper rabbit, smoking, shaking, thumper rabbit, and she's just like burping and waiting,
ugh.
trying to get a hold of Michael because, of course, she left and she made him leave by himself to go on this interview in like a huffity puff, and then been puffing ever since, honey. And
Mhm.
then he won't get back to her, even though she's like called and left messages. And of course, in this part does feel producery sometimes, where suddenly beyond her shoulder, he's just walking up and they're like, producer's voice, like, there he is, you know what I'm saying? And he just walks up, she runs up and he's just like, baby. And she's like, Michael, I've been calling you, know what to tell me what happened, Michael. And he's just like, it did not work out. No! And she's just like, no. She's like so upset. And he's just like, she's like, maybe it's why it hasn't meant to be because we're both dickheads. She actually said that before he got there, but that was really, really funny to me because at one point I'm like, you think that maybe that's why it's meant to be that you haven't gotten it's because we're both dickheads, meaning that you blame him just as much as you blame yourself. Anyway, he says he didn't get out and he didn't go out and didn't go well. And then she freaks out. And
The amount of times that she's like, nobody else has to go through this shit, and I'm like, she's absolutely right.
yeah,
Everyone else from her season and the seasons after her
are
have
divorced. Have already been married, divorced. They've come here, they've been back. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
so she just is like, God damn it. Like, and I'm like, listen, I don't like you, Fire Marshal Bill, but you make sense. That's so true.
remember Juliana and like Michael, and she came, like Juliana like came on the show, then we liked the kids and Max and the other one, and then like the mom ended up like moving in with all of them with her husband, and then the husband and Juliana.
That was their original season?
Yes, and then they almost like moved up.
Oh.
Like they've been on, like Angel's been on for so long, and then like she was made, the guy like that was married to the wife said that he had actually hooked up with Juliana, but then Juliana was saying that like they're all like fucked up, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
has
She
been
was
like
there with
feeding them all basically because no one makes any money. So then she goes abroad and just meets some other guy and gets pregnant by him and just leaves Michael. Like all of that's happened, and yeah, no, Angela's right. No one goes
John
through
and
this.
Lucy. Angela was there with John and Lucy because remember, Angela got into a fight with not John and Lucy, John and Rachel. Baby's name is Lucy. And remember,
Rachel
Angela
didn't make it either. They didn't make it either.
but they just broke up. Like what I'm saying is like that was so long ago with Rachel. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so long ago. And so she's just like fit to be tied, just on the streets yelling, and then she finds out. And I think it's because Michael had a slip of words. I don't know if he chose to do it, but he told her, God damn it, he's so bad at it. He's so bad at lying, or he's so bad at keeping his story straight. It's like he's been with her
Yes.
for 7 years and he doesn't know that he cannot trip up his words. He needs to say things the exact way or stop lying. He chose to move it to the Ivory Coast, but told her that Nigeria chose to move it to the Ivory Coast
Yes.
because they were backlogged. And so
Yes.
then there he's like, yes, I chose to move it because, and she's like, wait a minute, you chose to move this? You chose for us to be in a French speaking country right now? You chose this? Yeah. And so then he's like, lady asked, why we have been denied before, and that sets her off again. I don't know, Michael. I don't know.
Well, yeah. She's like, the fact that you moved it already is suspicious. And I want to be like, Angela, they're watching you on TV right now. They've been watching you. It's season whatever. The reason why you haven't gotten it is because America and the embassy and everywhere has TV. They
Yes.
have computers and they have phones. So
Yes.
they know
Mhm.
that marriage isn't like a viable one, and they don't believe that you have the money or like the wherewithal to like make it be viable. And this
Yeah.
is like they can't put you in jail for some reason because no one's prosecuting you, but like I just think there's like a higher ups that are like, no,
Yeah. Yes, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, she's
no.
too ridiculous.
Mhm.
Okay, now we got another liar, Patrick and Thais. Um, so Patrick is meeting with John, and Patrick is scared of Thais the same way Luke is scared of Medellin. And I think, like, I don't know why. Like, he just has to lie to her. So, anyways, he meets with John. They have a beer, and John is like, "Yeah, well, your dad Jose's kind of a dick,
Mhm.
and he's been that all my life."
Mhm.
And so I see why Thais is saying what she said. That's crazy
Mhm.
that me and Thais are on the same side of, but you know. And Patrick can't get him can't Patrick cannot see his father for the trees or whatever. Like he cannot see that his father is a user and abuser.
Mhm.
And your older brother, who is a more experienced to understand probably what happened when you were younger, and but Patrick is like, that's my dad though. Like, so what am I supposed to do? And like not love my dad? And I'm like, maybe if like he's using you and he's going to continue using you and then leave you nothing. Could you what's the gag? The gag is the man dies and the property that Patrick is paying for and helping him spruce up doesn't even go to Patrick. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I agree. Like there's parents in this world who like didn't really do anything to like help you grow and help give to you when you like desperately needed it. And
Poured
then
into
those
you.
parents sometimes want to come back as they age because they feel like they are in need and that you owe them. And I think that that's an unfortunate thing to have to deal with, and it
Yeah.
just like it's varying levels of that. But obviously John has the ability to kind of like let Patrick know what kind of man he thinks his father is. And even if he thinks that John is too cheap to get a hotel room because he wants to save money at every turn, and that is true, and that John would love any sort of alcohol at any given time, like on his lips, and that is true. I obviously the same eyes that, that he's been looking at this whole time is John's as they've been brothers together, and he knows what John's seen, like so I don't know. That's just, but this part is like really sad to me, honestly. So, but basically, then we get the like very fake storyline of like, well, first of all, did you wish Thais a happy birthday? John's like, no, I didn't know. Why? No, I didn't text that. He's like, well, I was saying real life. And he's like, oh Jesus. So then you have to like get to the stupid apartment, and then we get a Thais like, hi John, and he's like, hey Thais, happy birthday. And I'm gonna take
Yeah.
that room. They're like,
Yeah.
my shh, the baby, and then we have to like get Thais, be like, you know,
Pain in my ass.
yeah, absolutely have to hear that they're gonna like stay the whole time together. And
But
yeah,
how
John is a
Patrick
pain in the ass.
introduces it is like, well, John got a mix up with his hotel, so he has to stay here.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, Patrick, the lies are weird. It's just a weird thing to lie about. It just undercuts any truth you might tell in the future. If you're lie about this, what the fuck else do you lie about?
You know,
So that would piss me off. Just tell me. Don't try to like skirt around me and like do whatever. Just tell me. Just tell me. Cause I don't, whatever.
turns out John doesn't have a hotel for tonight. Is the same thing. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Turns out John doesn't have a hotel, doesn't have a hotel room tonight.
No, 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 no.
That's the
Turns out.
that's the truth, like, and what can you say? It's, like now you can say that I anticipated this.
You could
But
you could say, "Did you know before this?" And then he's like,
I anticipated it could have happened knowing my
"Yeah,
brother.
yeah."
And
Okay,
then she
why
could be
didn't you?
like, "Did you ask him to make sure that wouldn't happen knowing your brother?" And he could be like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Yes." Just like, yeah, yeah, but that's not what happened, but honestly, I don't John is in John's pocket, a John pocket, which is he gets to like be
No,
the like very
niche.
versed, yeah, his like get to be in his like pocket, which is get to be like living in the groove of a wise talking kind of like roll with the punches. I got my bro's back kind of ancillary character, secondary character for this,
He's
which I
living in
don't
the
mind.
groove. He's living in
You
the
know,
groove.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He is. That is his slot, his niche, his character mold, and he fits right into it perfectly.
And he's the one that
Um,
says sometimes family sucks, and it really hit home. So you know what? He's
yeah,
seen some shit. You know, he's
he's
seen
seen
some
it
shit.
all. Well, that's the end of the episode, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys would like to support us, let me tell you how you can. We have a Patreon. It's $10 a month. If you would like to join us on Patreon, please do. It's patreon.com/DocuSweeties. You get a live every first Monday of the month and other goodies. So if you're interested in that content, please join us there. If you cannot do that at patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month, Chris will tell you how you can for free support us. Chris?
Oh, hi. Yes. Go to your social medias and follow and like all of our posts. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on X, DocuSweeties1 on X, DocuSweeties on TikTok, and we have a Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group, and we also are on YouTube. And so make sure that you are there and giving us a review and or a comment wherever you can. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you later, okay?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.